Hello, welcome back to Our Pop Culture, and today we're going over the CBS original Why Women Kill. So, I know it's been a while, it's been a long time since I made a video. My phone has had a couple issues with my recording, so I had to go to like AT&T to get it all fixed and everything, and I did. So, now I'm back, and I have like a shit ton of just albums and a couple shows to like catch you guys on and reviews. So probably throughout this whole week, you're probably gonna see a lot of videos, probably two in one day. So get ready for them. I hope you're excited because I'm excited. I'm just happy to be back. And we're gonna start with Why Women Kill. So Why Women Kill is a really, really, really good show. Really good show. If it doesn't get a nominee or anything, like, I'm gonna be very upset because it's so good. So the plot of it is that it's an anthology series that follows three women that live in different decades. The decades are 1963, 1984, and 2019. Each decade lives in the same exact house. It's just shit. Whenever the new person comes in that decade, the house gets redecorated into that type of time. And each relationship deals with infidelity, betrayal, and all that stuff like that inside their marriage. So, and each couple is completely different than the other. But throughout the whole time, you're figuring out, like, they start off by showing off the men, the husbands, and pretty much they're all in white, so you assume that they're already dead, and stuff like that. So you kind of figure out throughout the whole season, it's just like, how are they going to kill them? How are they going to do stuff to them? Like, what causes them to do so? What causes women to kill? So, and as you go on, you see that it gets way more complicated than it comes off, and it's really, really good. Like, it's pretty much, if you like, the same person that did this is the same person that did Desperate Housewives. So if you like that, you'll love this even more because it gives you a little bit more of a like umbrella of possibilities of things happening, and you do not know where everything is going, and it's so good. I really recommend everybody just giving it a try. If it was any other time, like, I probably can go through the whole season within seconds. It's really, really good. The whole season actually is out because the finale happened last month. So it's a really, really good show. At this point, I'm going to go into spoilers. I'm also going to go to, let me back up. I'll go into spoilers pretty much right now. So if you haven't seen it and you really want to be surprised, I definitely recommend it in that direction. At the same time, if you just want to have an idea of what's going on, I personally think that you can watch something and still, or you can listen to like a review and still watch something go on and still be surprised. That's my opinion. So let's get right into it. So first of all, you start off with 1963. So 1963 has a couple named Beth and Robert Stanton. Beth is played by Jennifer Goodwin, who's in Once Upon a Time. He's just not that into you. She's a really good actress. She's amazing. Robert Stanton is played by Sam Yeager, who's in Lucky Number 11 and American Sniper. I've seen Lucky Number 11, but I haven't seen American Sniper. But he's good in that one. And so they're pretty much is about them having their relationship, and they're in the 60s, so it's a little more like wife stays home, the man goes to work, and so that's been the whole thing. But we find out that Robert is cheating on Beth for a while with this other woman named April Warner, who's played by Sadie Calvano, who's in Mom, which is I found that out after the show that was the same person. She's actually in Mom. She's the she's the daughter of Anna Faris, who pretty much they just cancel her out by the second season, I feel like. And also Sadie's been in J. Edgar. So she becomes, she's this waitress that's having an affair with Robert. So Beth tells one of her best friends who lives across the street, whose name is Sheila Mosconi, who is played by I'm gonna butcher this one, Capella, who's in Jericho in Another World. So they talk to each other about it, and she's like, why don't you try to get cozy with the mistress and try to get to in her like good side and everything, and then she'll like want to be with you, you can kind of, or want to be around you, and you can kind of like separate them eventually. She does decide to do that, but things kind of wrap around because she can't really she can't tell April that her husband is Robert. So while she's trying to get in good graces with April's still having an affair with Robert. And Robert has no idea that Beth is doing this, so she kind of tries different ways to kind of get in between them. And a lot of it fails. It's insane. Like, it's insane. So, yeah, and throughout the whole time, it's you wrap around a lot of the things that happened in the 60s that are against, like, women's like rights, and a lot of things that happen that goes on to like masculinity and issues like that. And so you see that kind of thing, and so it wraps all the way down to where just things get complicated, and she starts doing desperate things, like saying to Robert that she has cancer and she's only gonna live for 6 more months, when things get kind of crazy. And come to find out that Robert finds out that she tells Robert about the cancer, and Robert turns around and just like, April, if you just be patient with me for 6 months, then we can be together afterwards, and we can have like a nice little thing, and my wife's gonna be dead anyway. So just like, it was so fucked up, and he's a complete asshole, and it gets to the point where at the end she does end up killing him. Well, technically not killing him, letting him die, due to the fact that a neighbor's husband who's been beating his wife for so long, like, gets in the mix of them, so he ends up firing a gun on Robert and killing him. It's a shit show in the best way, and there's so many dramas that happen in the middle of it, but those are the highlights of it. And then you go to 1984. By the way, these are all happening like at the same time. Like, when you're watching each episode, it's not just, here's 1963. Okay, we're done with that. Now 1984. Like, you get pieces and pieces and pieces of the story. So 1984 is a different story with Simone and Carl Grove. And Simone is played by Lucy Liu. You do not know who Lucy Liu is. Treat yourself. Kill Bill, Charlie's Angels, Elementary. Like, she's really, really good. And Carl Grove is played by Jack Davenport, who's in Pirates of the Caribbean. He plays the British, I think he's a captain, British soldier who's Jack Sparrow gets away from him all the time. Get a little more light. There we go. So, and he's also in Kingsman. So they pretty much are together, and it's in the 80s, and their house is fucking gorgeous. It's in the 80s look. She's in her beautiful, like, gowns and looks and crazy, like, crumped up hair, and it looks gorgeous. Comes to find out that she finds out that Carl has had an affair with one of her hairstylists, and she finds out because one of the hairstylists stops styling her hair, and two, she finds out. So it pretty much goes into this whole thing where he doesn't want to break up. He doesn't want to like divorce her. She does, but then she figures out that she can't really. But she has like image issues, so she can't really divorce. There's only a certain time and way to divorce him without coming out the fact that he's gay, and just have a nice little clean where she still ends up on top. But he pretty much like slightly blackmails her with that kind of image thing, uses it against her in some way, and at the same time, but over time you start realizing that they do have a connection, like not a friend direction, like best friends connection. What's way more deeper than their actual love relationship. So they start filling that out and actually decide to like coexist in the same house while she's dating one of her best friend's son, who's just turned 18, or not dating, just fucking on the side, and he is not fucking anybody, but it's one of those things where it's just like, it's a crazy thing going on. Now, in this world, the son is played is Tommy Harte, who's played by Leo Howard, who's in Legacies and G.I. Joe Rise of the Cobra. I don't remember him in any of those things, but I do think he's pretty cute. So they pretty much have their own thing, and then the mother Tommy finds out, who's played by Kate Finneran, who's in Bloodline, the Michael J. Fox show, and stuff like that. So she gets revenge on Simone by exposing the fact that Carl is gay, but in the same time, due to the fact it's 80s, which I thought was a great opportunity, and they used it perfectly, was that he finds out that he has AIDS or HIV. I think it's HIV before it turns into AIDS later on, and that gets spilled out everywhere. So then their country clubs don't want to take them in, and all that stuff happens, and it turns out sad because they actually have grown past the cheating and everything. And so it comes a really, really sad moment, and she ends up helping him commit suicide, technically, by injection, so because he doesn't want to live through the whole thing, and she's already getting a rise with Tommy. So it's a very sad ending, but it's so beautiful because you really realize how much chemistry they have as best friends, you know. So that story is one. And then finally, the third story is in 2019, which is way more recent and also completely different. This one is Taylor Harding, who's played by Kirby of Howell-Bapiste, who's in Good Place. She's in Barry. She's also in Killing Eve, which she killed it in Killing Eve. So her and then her husband, who is Eli Cohen, apparently they didn't take each other's last names, who was a writer, and Taylor is a lawyer. So they pretty much live in the same house, but in 2019, and they're in an open marriage. So they had times where they would play. I think in the beginning they were open marriage, but they played with other people, but it only had to be temporary. So come to find out that Taylor has been seeing this girl named Jade, who's Andrea, I'm going to damage this last name, Daddario. She is in a shit ton of stuff. I love her. She's in Baywatch, Percy Jackson, both of them, and Texas Chainsaw 3, or blah, 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 blah. She's in Texas Chainsaw 3D. So she comes into the picture, and of course Eli's not really happy about the fact that they've been messing around with each other for 6 months. 6 fucking months, by the way. Taylor and Jade mess around 6 months. They completely skate past that because because they're like, oh, I really want, and so she decides to go, or Taylor decides to go after, let me rewind. Jade, after this discovery, Jade actually sends Taylor a message saying that her ex-boyfriend is out there and is abusing her, blah, blah, blah. So Taylor goes out, drives over to Jade, and takes her back to their place. And Eli is like, so not only were you messing with this girl for 6 months, now you're trying to get her to live with us. And so it works out. It turns out that it actually works out for a bit because he also has a thing for her. I mean, she's gorgeous. So they end up having a inevitable threesome, which goes really well. But then, people start whispering into Taylor's ear that Eli might be more into Jade, and they're gonna leave with each other. So that kind of goes into the trend of the wife being cheated on. But they do not cheat because it's kind of open pretty much. So, but shit gets crazy because what happens is more Jade has her issues, a lot of issues. Jade's not even her name. She's running from the law. Her boyfriend's not as crazy as you think. she ends up killing her boyfriend and then putting a huge wedge between Taylor and Eli to the point where they decided that they're looking to separate each other and maybe get a divorce. And Jade decides to stay with Eli because Eli's starting to make money now, so because his story takes off and pretty much kicks out Taylor from the house. Then they find out the real reason that everything's happening is because Jade is playing puppet master. So they pretty much try to find a way to get rid of her. I gotta remember. So this is what happens when you take too long to make videos. I can't remember if she gets. She does get killed. She shoots. She ends up shooting. Jade ends up shooting Eli, but Eli survives in the end, and Jade dies. I think she dies. I want to say she dies, or she like something happens. Oh no, she dies. She gets stabbed by Taylor. But that part sounds a lot way more dramatic than it really comes off. Like she's way more solid than, like, it's way more details in the middle I'm not even covering, but it's so good. It's a really good show. I recommend it. I completely give this show a 10 out of 10. Like, it's really that good. Every bit of it wasn't boring at all. So that is it. Leave a comment below. Tell me if you've seen the show or not, and if you liked it. Tell me what parts you liked. What story did you like of it? Like, which one was your favorite one out of all of them? I personally like the 1984. I think it was way more stylish. I think it was really cool. I think that 63 was way more scandalous, but in 2019 was way more like imposter kind of thing. So yeah, so leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I hope everybody has a great week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.